A massive development being pitched for Carmel Valley in northern San Diego is provoking outcries from the community. The opposition calls itself What Price Main Street. Andy Keatts, a reporter for Voice of San Diego, is covering the story. He joins me now. Before we launch into the specifics of the project, why should our viewers care?
Well, so even if you don't live in Carmel Valley, and this isn't something that's going to have a direct effect on your life, this is the same type of fight that you could probably imagine happening all around San Diego. There's growth projections that suggest the population, just based on people who already live here having children, is going to push the existing communities to start accommodating all sorts of population density that aren't in place right now. So with a project like this that brings in a lot of density, you're really seeing a precursor to some fights that might be going on in other communities in the next 20, 30 years.
You've described this project as a mega development. Why?
Well, it's just very big. It's a 23.5 acre parcel. It's right at the Del Mar Heights and Camino Real Roads corner there. It's 600 housing units, 200,000 square feet of retail, 500,000 square feet of office space, almost 4,000 parking spaces. Within all that, you're going to see another 7 acres or so of open space. So, you're really just talking about a very large project, let alone the fact that it's only, the parcel is already only entitled to 500,000 square feet of office space. So you're looking at 3 times that much. But even if you forget about the entitlements or what the ideal size is, 1.4 million square feet of development in any area is just a very large development.
And this very large development was discussed last night at a planning commission meeting. What happened there?
So the planning commission, which is ultimately going to render a vote, which will basically just serve as a suggestion to the citywide planning commission, who will then give a vote that would send the project to the city council for a final approval. And they delayed that vote until the February meeting. But basically what happened last night was you had the developers came in and they outlined some recent reductions in the property that they had announced in November, and once again made their pitch for it. And they answered some questions, and then there was basically an airing of grievances, if you will, between supporters and opponents of the project.
And how did they number?
There hasn't been any polling that at least has been made public that would give you a good indication of what percent of the community feels this way or what percent of the community feels this way. I will say that there were a lot of people there for it and a lot of people there against it, and they all have very strong opinions. And
I believe there was somewhat of a surprise guest there. Who was it, and
yes.
What did he say?
Yeah, so Bob Filner showed up, Mayor Bob Filner showed up, and the guy has a flair for the dramatic. He never minces words or shies away from a fight, and sure enough, he didn't last night either. He ripped the project. He ripped the developers for even having the audacity to come in, as he said, and their initial proposal was 2.1 million square feet. They've moved that down to 1.4 million, but as he said, that it was audacious for them to even think that they could propose something that was 4 times the existing entitlement for the area, and then suggest that they had respect for the community. So he basically said that he would fight the project, and he doesn't support it. So.
Now, I know you said that there aren't any polling numbers on who is for it and who's against it, but what's your sense of the opposition to this project? How strong are they?
It's Carmel Valley it's a wealthy area in town. It's an area where these are people who like their neighborhood. They bought into the community for the reason that that they liked the way it is, and they want to keep it that way. And so they're well armed with facts, and they strongly oppose this project. Also on their side is the developer who owns the property right next door to what would be One Paseo, the Del Mar Highlands area, and they have enlisted a lobbyist, Southwest Strategies, to lobby against the project in City Hall. So it's a well-heeled opposition.
Okay. What is your sense of the effect that the developers scaling down of the project has had on the opposition? Has it made a dent in it?
No, it's had no effect at all. Basically, the way they look at it is, you came out with a project that was 4 times the size of the existing entitlement, and now you've reduced it to 3 times the size of the existing entitlement, and you're expecting us to be happy about that. And so, from their way of seeing things, it's why wouldn't you start instead at 500,000 square feet and then maybe try to have a conversation to increase it? One of the members of the planning board actually said something very similar to that last night. They've made these reductions, and it has, not insignificantly decreased the size of the project, but it hasn't really won them any support, at least not yet.
Andy Keatts, thank you so much for speaking to us about this project. We're going to be hearing a lot more, I'm sure.